Caitlin, and I am so excited that it is October. Today we're going to be making some really fun kind of Halloween garland with little tassel ghosts and little pom-pom and little pom-pom pumpkins. Say that 10 times faster. So the Halloween garland that we're making today is pretty dang inexpensive. It's quite quick to make in terms of crafts, and I think it's really cute. There are a ton of different ways you can put your own spin on this. You can just do ghosts. You can do different colored ghosts. I've also seen on Pinterest they do like some pink and orange and all that and put little faces on there, so it's a little more on the nose. But we're gonna stick with just plain ghost tassels. I'm not doing faces on mine, and then pumpkins. So I will show you how to make these little cuties, and I'm gonna show you the inspiration picture for it that I found on Pinterest. I definitely didn't come up with this. I am not the first, but I'm just so excited it's October, so I wanted to share it. That's about what I've got. So this is the inspiration pic that I found on Pinterest. It's from Bliss Makes and on her website, and she lists out like supplies and how to make it. I already knew how to make pom-poms and tassels, so I'm going to show you the way that I do it. I will link her blog post since she's where I found the inspiration for this, but I already know how to make tassels and pom-poms, so I'm going to share that with you. And just the way I put my own spin on it, because we're also going to do like a braided cord or like string that they're all going to be strung on, and that's super easy too. So let's get into it. So the things that you're going to need for this super quick project, I got all of it at my craft store from Michael's. You'll need a pair of super sharp scissors. You'll need a pom-pom maker if you're going to make pumpkins. There's also ways that you can do it without buying a pom-pom maker. This one I actually bought in a set from Amazon because pom-poms are really fun. Super inexpensive, but you can also just do like an all ghost strand, or I've seen tutorials where they like wrap it around their hands and make little squatty pumpkins. And then a piece of cardboard. I just clipped mine off of a package that I received. So mine is probably about 4 or 5 inches long, because that's how long I want my tassels to be. So you kind of just eyeball it. If you want them longer, make it longer. If you want them shorter, make it shorter. Totally customizable, super easy. Then you will need white yarn. I did kind of an off-white, and it's kind of thickish, but it's the kind that is, it's like normal yarn and not like the chenille, because this will kind of unravel and give it more of the tassel-y look. And then orange yarn. This is a little bit thicker or thinner than the white, just my personal preference, and mostly because I wanted more of like a rusty orange instead of like a super bright orange. And then this is optional, but I find it very cute, brown. So this will be for the pumpkin stems. So we'll tie up our pom-pom with that. So with that, that's all I got. That's all you need to get started. So I will show you how to first make the tassel. So with your white yarn, I'm going to pull a bunch of it out because I don't want to make it like super tight. And I'm going to cut off a string that is about a foot long. This is just to tie the top of the tassel, and so that you have room to tie onto the string to make your garland. And then I'm going to do a piece that's probably about 5 inches long to tie around it to make its little head and turn it into a tassel. So to get this size of little ghost, a little tassel, I wrapped it around my cardboard 25 times. And so if you're doing them, if you want them thicker or thinner, just make sure you count the first time that you do it so that all of them can be uniform. Or if you don't want them uniform, that's your business. So that's fine. 25. All right. And then I'm gonna let this back piece kind of go a little bit so it's not taut, and trim it off. So now that our yarn is on the board, I'm gonna slip our longer strand that's about a foot long underneath all of the ribbon or all of the yarn on one side, pull it to the top, and then I'm going to tie it in a knot and pull it really tight so it gathers. Can you see? So that it gathers at the top. And then I'm going to put my finger on it just to hold it and knot it just a couple of times, making sure it's all secure. You don't want any of your rogue yarn falling out. And then on the other ends, now it's tied. I turn it upside down so it's on the bottom. I'm going to go and trim the bottom piece of it so that they all are individual tassels. Boom. And now I'm just going to brush it all together and tie it around here with my shorter, and it's easier if you do this on a table. I just am lazy and don't want to change camera angles. So about an inch from the top, I would say, tie your little thing around and pull it super tight again. Tie it in a couple of knots. And then you can trim off the excess if you'd like. Or if you're unbothered like me, you can just make sure that that side is towards the back. So now we have our little ghost tassel. So with your ghost, I'm gonna do 6 ghosts in 5 pumpkins because I want there to be an odd number and I want them to alternate. So, and that's just the composition that I like. You can do more if you're covering a bigger space. You can do fewer if you just want a couple and like hang it off your desk or whatever. So I have now 6 ghosts, and now we're gonna make a little pumpkin. So for this one, you'll need your little pom-pom maker. Make sure your sides are lined up. You don't want them mismatched. And then your pumpkin colored yarn, and then just wrap it around. If you've never used one of these before, they're super easy. You basically just wrap it and fill it all the way up until you cannot fit any more yarn on there while still being able to close it. I often have to like hold mine shut. So just keep them even and go to town wrapping it all up. Once you're done, just clip the other end. Boop. Now before I trim this up, I'm going to pull out about like 6 inches of brown yarn and cut it and set it aside. This is what we're going to use to tie up our pom-pom. So now I cut from the closed side to the open side because otherwise it kind of tries to open on me, and you don't want this to open. If I've taught you anything in this little tutorial thing, it's don't release your pom-pom maker until it's tied. Otherwise you have just tiny pieces of yarn. Don't ask me how I know this. It's one of those things you only have to learn once. And just trust me, just learn it from me. Don't release it or you'll cry. And no, I didn't figure that out while making a massive pom-pom like the size of my head. And no, I did not cry. But thanks for asking. Oh, this is where we are. Now we've got fuzzy pom-pom action. And now we've uncovered the seam. So now we put our brown thread in that seam. And then we're going to knot it and pull it super tight. And just knot it a couple more times. It's like insurance. Don't know if you're gonna need it, but something bad happens if you don't. Just in case, you know, just do it. Just until you feel secure. Like that, that feels secure. Okay, so now we have our brown yarn sticking out of the top. We'll open up our pom-pom maker and breathe a sigh of relief. Everything is good. It pops apart like this. You can put it back together like that. And now, this is what I do. Don't be like me. Don't do this. I go like this and kind of fluff my pom-pom with my scissors. They're closed, but they are pointy. And do this. And then, you see it's like not pumpkin shaped yet. I just like to trim up the sides. Any rogue little guys, make it a little bit more round. If you like squatty pumpkins, make it squatty. If you don't want to do anything to it, that's also totally fine. The first ones I didn't make a stem, I just tied them on, and it's still cute. But I'm going to show you how I make a little stem. It is super easy and worth it. So all I do is make little gentle knots. Don't pull it all the way until it's knotted. Just kind of looping it through. This is 2. I did like 4, 3, 1 more. So the last one, on the 4th one, this is where you pull it tight. And see, now it's like a little stem. So whenever we tie it directly on, just a little bit will be sticking out. All right, we've got our 5 pumpkins and a rogue ghost. Now let's make the string that it's going to go on. So I like to do just like a braided yarn hanger. You can just do 1 string. This is totally up to you, totally customizable. I'm going to do mine about my arm's length long. It's about 5'9" on a good day. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to count until I have 9 of these, because I want to make a 3-strand braid with 3 strands in each braid. So if you know how to do math, which I sometimes do, that's 9. And I think that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so I'm going to cut off here. Boop. And I'm going to cut all these loops because we want them to be individuals. And then I'm also going to tie one side in a knot, like so, just so I have something to like hang it by. And I'm going to go to the other end and snip all these loops also. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, now braid it like you normally would. Just grab 3 strands for each part of your braid. Keep it a little bit loose, because otherwise it'll be like real tight, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna do it mid-air, showing off my party tricks. Also, you'll notice as you're braiding, the bottom part is gonna get tangled. So every now and again, just comb it through like you do your hair. If you have long hair, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you probably still know what I'm talking about. Okay, I've got about, man, I'm so good at my guesstimations today. I've got about 4 inches or so, give or take, where most of them are left. So I'm going to take it and knot it off. Knot it. Because I personally like to have like a little hanging on the end. I think it's cute. And so I just pull my little knot together here too. This end is kind of mostly even. I'm going to trim my ends just a little bit, make them nice. And like, this is so satisfying as a kid that cut their own hair whenever they were little. This stuff is pretty fun to do, so, you know. Here we go. And now, find the middle of your now really cool braided rope, and that's where you're going to put your first pumpkin. You're like, why a pumpkin? Because we're starting and ending with ghosts, because there's 6 of them and there's 5 pumpkins. You can always lay this out on a table and kind of lay out where everything is going to go. So I'm going to do that. Okay, we're back. Everything's tied on, and the big reveal, wait for it. How stinking cute is this? Look at it. Look at freaking ghosts. It's so dang easy. You can hang it on your mantle, hang it on your desk. I right now have one in my room hanging off a shelf. It is just so stinking precious. So there we have it. There's our ghost in pumpkin garland. It was so easy to make. It is so precious. The little braid, the little ghost. And like I said, put faces on them, don't put faces on them. Do all ghosts, do different color ghosts, do whatever you want. You got to have some yarn on hand, make it up. It'll be perfect. So if you end up making this, tag me in it. I'll leave my handle here. And with that, I'll see you on the internet, friends. Goodbye. I dropped a pom pom pumpkin. Be right back. Boom. All right. So dumb.